Long ago, in the ancient land of Ndamora, animals lived in harmony, ruled by the wise and powerful Sky King, Obanwatu. This was a time when the tortoise had the smoothest, most beautiful shell in the entire kingdom. Unlike the slow, careful creature we know today, Tortoise was clever, swift, and known for his sharp wit. But he was also cunning, greedy, and always looking for ways to outsmart others. One season, a terrible famine spread across the land. Crops withered, rivers dried up, and food became scarce. The animals grew weak, their bellies empty. But whispers spread that the gods of the sky were preparing a great feast, a divine banquet meant only for the creatures of the air. Birds from all over the kingdom received an invitation, but land creatures? They could only dream. Tortoise, desperate to fill his belly, hatched a plan. He went to the birds, pretending to be humble and wise.
A feast, you say?
Yes. Only the birds are invited. There will be golden yams, roasted meats, and sweet palm wine.
My dear feathered friends, you cannot leave your poor brother behind.
But Tortoise, you are not a bird. The feast is for creatures of the air alone.
Ah, but do we not all suffer the same hunger? Let me come with you, and I shall represent the creatures of the land.
The birds hesitated. They knew Tortoise's reputation, but he was persuasive, and eventually they agreed. Each bird plucked a single feather and tied it to Tortoise's back. With their help, he soared into the sky, his patched wings carrying him higher and higher until he reached the gates of the Sky Kingdom. But Tortoise was not done with his tricks. At the grand feast, the tables overflowed with golden yams, roasted meats, sweet fruits, and the finest palm wine. The Sky King welcomed his guests, saying, "Eat, my children, this food is for you." Tortoise, always thinking ahead, stood up and smiled. "In my land, we have a tradition," he announced. Before a feast, each guest takes a new name that reflects their honor. The birds, eager to impress the gods, agreed. One called himself Swift Wing, another Golden Feather. But when it was Tortoise's turn, he declared, "I shall be called All of You." The birds cheered, not realizing the trick. When the Sky King invited them to eat, Tortoise quickly spoke, "Thank you, great Sky King. Since you said this feast is for all of you, and I am all of you, then the food is mine." The birds gasped. The Sky King raised an eyebrow. Before anyone could stop him, Tortoise devoured everything, every last grain of rice, every drop of palm wine. He ate until his belly swelled.
Ah, such a delicious feast. More yams, more wine, more meat. My dear friends, why do you glare at me? I am only following tradition.
The birds sat in anger, their hunger raging. "You have deceived us," they cried. With the feast ruined, the Sky King's smile faded. His voice boomed like thunder. "For your greed and deception, you will never fly again." The birds, furious, took back their feathers, leaving Tortoise stranded in the Sky Kingdom with no way home. Panicking, he begged them to help, but the birds had learned their lesson. In desperation, Tortoise turned to the Sky King. "Please, great ruler, I was foolish. Let me return home." The Sky King shook his head. "You may leave, but the sky will not be kind." With a wave of his hand, he summoned a mighty storm. The wind howled, the clouds roared, and before Tortoise could react, he fell. Tortoise tumbled through the sky, screaming as he spiraled toward the earth. He prayed for mercy, twisting his body, trying to land safely. But when he hit the ground, crack! His once smooth, perfect shell shattered into a dozen pieces. Tortoise groaned in pain as he crawled from the wreckage, his body broken, his pride destroyed. He tried to put himself back together, but the cracks remained. From that day on, every tortoise bore the scars of his greed, their shells forever cracked as a reminder of his greatest mistake. And so, the legend of Tortoise, the trickster who fell from the sky, was told for generations. A story of greed, betrayal, and the price of deception. So, my children, the next time you see a tortoise, remember this story. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more stories.